Welcome back. Let's continue with this one. It's a nice rust prep. Basically, all this rustiness in here, and we don't want that. That's bad. So, basically, lose me face mask. Safety first. Basically what I'm doing is going through and just knocking the surface off it all. I'm just going to rust treat it. It's not as if we're building a car. It doesn't have to be any good. Just has to not be rusty. Put some converter on it and that'll be totally fine for this project. Gotta get it all, it's all up here. Just want to clean all this up. Just gonna go through this little fellow. And then I got a selection of his friends, which are over here. You're getting tight places, you're getting other places. Then I got some brushes, and I've lost my rust converter, but I got a rust converter. I'm gonna brush that all over it. And that way the inside of it's all prepped and good. And then we'll get to the outside later. Well, that is quite the mess. Well, that is thick. But they're pretty well cleaned up. This is all I'm looking for. You can see it's not scaly. We'll put some rust converter on there. And then we can just move on with that. This is the product I've gone with, mainly because it was the only one I could find quickly and easily. Know nothing about it. Converts rust apparently, that's the main thing. It's white and milky. Kind of looks like paint. Not what I was expecting, I thought it was going to be super watery. Anyway, you can see I've got this all cleaned up now. Inside's all cleaned up too. So, well, I'm just going to go through, brush it all on, and it takes 2 to 3 hours to set. In the meantime though, I am going to start doing some more mock-up with the main framework and see how that all leads me to somehow getting this together. I have ordered the infill pieces to go in there, so that's pretty exciting. We'll have them soon. It's milky in the container, it's milky when it goes on. I don't know. Like I say, I've never used it before. I've just been, just dip that in there and slather it on, I don't know. I don't really believe a whole lot in these rust converters. I don't think they do, I don't know. I don't think they really work. Rust is rust. Only way to get rid of rust is to sandblast it. But considering this will never go outside again, it'll just be inside as a couch, I think rust converter will do the job. That's what we're looking at. So it does actually change. It slowly, where's the bit? It goes purple and then it starts to go clear at the end of it. So anyway, I got the whole thing done. I don't know if I'm going to do that bit yet. I might cut it off, so we can always come back and do a little bit more later. But yeah, all done in there, all under there. I got a little bit more cutting and welding to do. You'll see there's a few bits that aren't coated yet. We do have to cut this a little bit further, do some welding there too, so I'll save all that when we get to that stage. That's that one. Let's attack that fellow. Well, that's our 2 halves done. That one's already starting to go off. Apparently purple is when it's actually working and reacting. Noisy bugger. And this one I just coated, so it's just fresh and white still. So I'm going to put them back in the other room. We're going to let them go off. I'm going to pull out the bumper. That bumper. Whoop. Oof, over zoomed. That bumper right there, and I'm going to start stripping it down and cleaning it up too. Alright, on closer inspection of our bumper, this is what we have. So it's pretty rusty. That's a hole. I know it's meant to be a hole, but it's bigger than it's meant to be. So it's pretty rusty. So I'm just going to blow it all apart. That's the way that hole's meant to be on the other end. Clean all the rust up. Unfortunately, this piece here, the number plate area, is busted too. There's a hole down there. It's got holes. It's quite rusty. So yeah, that's alright though. Strip it down. Let's see what we got as far as individual parts go. Sorry. This never-ending nasally flu thing just won't bugger off. Alright. Well, they came apart that easy. Just hit them with a gun. Off they came. That's ridiculous. Looked way worse. This bit here, that they're like a rivet. Thought that would be a bolt. We're going to have to grind and slash drill them out, which is totally fine. The bumper itself's in really good nick. There's a dent there we don't care about because it's on the bottom. But the rest of it is really straight, so I can be upset about the condition, but cannot be upset about how straight it is. That's great. So I've drilled the rivets out, hopefully. Now I've been down this route before. These are tight. The rivet actually expands into the metal. You normally have to drill them all the way through, but I'm hoping because it's thin metal, we might be alright. Yeah. If you look, you can see it's actually expanded. So I've drilled the top out of this one, but it actually expands in the center section as well. Yeah. That one there, I'll have to hit the grinder, knock him off. Do the same to the other end. I bashed at that rust hole. That's a hole. Just like that, it was in pieces. Here's a rivet. You can see I've drilled into him to take the head out, but they expand right into the material that they're pressed into. Dropped him. So anyway, that's one side done. So yeah, I'll go knock that end apart. We'll play around with the width and see how this is going to work out, how I extend it. I'm thinking initially about this bit here. Instead of it overlapping like that, I'm not looking for much. Maybe I can butt weld it back here somewhere. And we're going to have to paint this anyway, because once I do that repair, trust me, chrome won't look good on this again. We'll paint it, so I can always fill that back and make that look alright. There's a lot of holes here. I don't know. It'd be nice to have the overriders on it still there, because I can repair them. Maybe cut it and extend the middle. Maybe. It's got a really rolled edge. That's going to be hard to replicate. Anyway, I'll blow it all apart, clean it all up, and I don't know, we'll come up with a plan here somewhere. So all that came apart just fine, and that's that bit of rust we were talking about. I've just opened up and exposed it. It's a decent hole in our bumper. So I got some 1.6 here. I think I might just do a square repair, Zeus a bit of material back into there, clean that up. That's really it for the bumper. The rest of it's really straight and really good. I just banged this dent out of it here, and that looks fine. It'll be great. But the rest of it's good. No complaints. A little bit of rust here. Like I said, we're going to paint it, so we'll put some filler in that. But that piece there is nicely shaped. This is the other end, and it's perfect. You can nearly polish that. So I'll clean them all up. We might do some rust treatments on the inside. Oh yeah, that hole. Hole is kind of the wrong size. We'll have to address that too. We'll get to that next. Let's start with this repair here. Alright, I cut myself a little piece. It's a little bit oversized, which is cool. We can work in the right shape. You see we got a little bit of a little curve here. So that's cool. I'm just going to give it that same curve, and then we'll weld her on in. That's going to be that fixed. Well, alright. That turned out half alright. It's got a few, you can still see kind of where the weld is and whatnot, and I've only just roughly ground it. My ability to do panel work is not what you call very good. And because we're going to paint this, it doesn't have to be very good. That'll just get a little bit of filler in there, and that'll make it look good at their end, and it'll be fine. No one will ever know the difference. Either way, it's not rusty. All penetrated pretty good. So yeah, that is that piece repaired. I did find some more rust over here. Now what I'm going to do on the, you can see it just in the back there, it's just shot. What I'm going to do on the quarter panels is actually the same as what I'll do with this, is I'll smear a thin layer of bog in the back of there, let it all squeeze out through these holes, and because we're painting it, we can just sand all that smooth and the bog in the back won't matter. It's not how you do a proper repair, especially if this was going to be a nice car, but all we're trying to do is use these terrible pieces I have to make a nice looking couch. So a little bit of bog for a couch, I think that's totally okay. Same goes for that repair. So yeah, I'm pretty happy. We'll turn my hand to cleaning up the rest of these pieces. I will not bore you with all of that. But I'm going to clean all these up, get them ready, and then we'll come back. This is the end of this night, but this is not the end of this video. I will come back once all these pieces have dried up and everything. It takes 2 to 3 hours to cure, and it's going off pretty good. Sort of gone a black color, which is cool. I don't know if I'll paint it yet or not on the inside. Maybe. Feels like the right thing to do, I guess. But yeah, I'll let these go off, and then we'll come back. I've ordered the panels to go in the infill. I want to get all of that in there. And I think I'm actually going to make this semi-modular. The problem I've got is once I build this, it's going to be quite large. It's not like a regular couch where you can just swing it through a doorway. It's going to be big and heavy and bulky. So I think I'm going to make it fairly modular so the ends come off. Or maybe just the seat base lifts out of it. Or both. I don't know. We'll work that out as I go. Whatever comes together type scenario. So I'm going to leave all this as it is right now. And we'll come back and play with that next. Well, it is now another night. You guys have just left off. You thinking nothing's changed. But for me, it's 3 nights later. I got sick. Had antibiotics. You know, just winter. So, it's time to get some tunes. Yoink. And some car pieces. And keep on building this couch. Because it's pretty cool and I'm a little bit excited. Whilst I was off sick, I did manage to order some bits though. These pieces here are our infills. So that's going to be interesting to see how that comes together. I went with a 1.2mm zinc steel. Mainly because it's not, when I say it's, I'm going to make it dead flat. It's not dead flat. It does actually have a bit of a curve to it. And I thought 1.2 would be so much easier to work with instead of 1.6, which is normally my go-to. Only catch is it's going to be a whole lot harder to weld, but that is future me's issue, I suppose. You can see all our rust converter has done its thing. I've been told that where it is white, that just means there wasn't rust there. So there is skerricks of paint and body deadener and stuff in there. So that's what that is. But the rest of it went black. Which apparently it's meant to do that too. I've never used it before, so that was a bit interesting. Anyway, drag these out, set them up, and work out what the bloody hell I'm going to do next. Right, what I've actually done is I've cut it back further. Like 60mm this way. Oh, there's my hand, there it is. 60mm this way backwards. This edge was not far in, and the seat actually overhangs that. So I didn't want it to overhang too far and just lose all the effect of the bumper. So I've cut it back a little bit further, which meant all the boot hinge had to go and whatnot, but that's okay. We don't need that no more. Here it is there. That old bolt did not want to come undone, so I convinced it to not be there. What I'm going to do now is I think I'm going to move on to the infill pieces. That's these here. They, like I say, are 1.2mm. 1.2 is a lot more flexible. A bit harder to weld, but more flexible. This piece of 1.6 I was using on that bumper is it's just not very forgiving, so it wouldn't have looked as good when I mold it in there, because it's not going to go real good. I'm going to have to cut it out around the wheel tub, or cut the wheel tub out, not sure. And this cuts back on an angle to this, they're not parallel, so that'll help us mold it a bit better. Alright, I've been working this panel like one slither at a time to get that, and I mean slithers. I've done quite a few, been at it for a while now, trying to get this shape. Let's throw it up here again. So it matches that. Actually, that's pretty good. That's probably the best I've gotten so far. Took one more little bit out of the top there. I think I did all right. Kind of want that about there. There we go. Mad. I'm no pedal beater, but that will certainly do. There's a bit of a gap there if you look. Oh, don't need to worry about that. As long as if we're making a neat panel. Just has to fill the area in. I'll neaten that up. Should be good. Anyway, that's how that panel's going to go. And then I'll get the overall outline from this side. And we'll Zeus the rest of it off. And that'll fill that section in. I got greedy. I thought I'll just take a little bit more out and clean it up a bit. Got me a gap. As long as I make the other side the same, we'll pretend that was on purpose. But this is what I wanted here. Look at that fit up. Mint. By the time I trim all this back and weld that, that's gonna be a nice corner. It's not gonna sit good through here. So yeah, I don't really care about how it looks from the top. That's all gonna be covered by seat. So that's lucky for me. And don't ever let me work on your car doing rust repairs or panel work. That's my outline. Ain't no turning back now. Let's hope I got this bit right. I'm gonna cut that and let's hope I'm good. Yep, that's approved. Get a hang of it. That's the idea right there. And it's super duper close. I've got a little bit of, I don't know, just trim this lower edge actually. Missed a bit, classic. But it all fits in there. We'll weld all the way along. Around here. through these bits here, and just a few stitches on the bottom, don't need much down there. And that's our side infill. Now, I did just kind of discover a flaw in this massive plan of mine. The headlights bolt in from the inside. So, I'm gonna have to cut an access in here at some stage, and I'll come up with a creative way of making that look like, you know, I meant to do that. This wasn't a mistake and stuff like that. So, I've also got to work out how I'm gonna pull the panel up. Oh, I can reach through here. No, that part's fine. Okay. Well, guess I better make good on this and weld it together. With this fellow. If you Unimig are watching, you can sponsor me. I'll happily get on board. Got like 5, 6, 7, 8. Got 8 Unimig machines. Come on, guys, where you at? Well, that's it all spotted in. Pretty happy with myself, actually. Bodywork's really not my forte, but even my joins are pretty neat. It all sits in there nicely. I kept this edge here. It's just a nice folded edge, so no, felt no need to remove it because it was already there. Really happy with it. Super stoked. Now I've got a shitload of welding to do, so I'm gonna weld this section here. I'm gonna leave this just spotted because we'll use a bit of body filler there. Won't worry too much, and then I'll have to weld this corner here as well. That'll bring it all back around. But yeah, this overlap here, I think we'll just use a bit of filler in there and just neaten it back out. I'm happy to see a seam there. That's not going to be of any bother to me. And you can see if you look across the sheet, it's not dead flat, and that's why I wanted to use the 1.2. You can feel it right there's a high. I wanted to use the 1.2 because I knew it would just take that shape so much better. Now we're starting to get there. Look at that. I'm insanely happy with that. So we've still got all the effects of the car side, but on the inside, it's just a flat sheet. I think I did alright welding it. This thin gauge stuff is very, very difficult, but I didn't blow any big holes, so that's cool. Stitched it back in the bottom. It's got that slight bow to it. Totally fine. Looks freaking rad, man. Got the contour to the wheel arch. Damn, that's cool. Oh, that's one down, and I've still got to do that one. And that still looks like, oh god, I got some work to do. Anyway, I digress. I am going to have a tasty beverage and admire this for just a moment and soak it in, and then it is onto that side, and we'll do the same. I think it's all I'm going to get done tonight, and it's probably where I'm going to end this video soon too. It's getting a lot to watch, I guess. So we'll see if we can get this one done, and I'll add that to this video. And I don't know, might come back down tomorrow night and do some more. I'm going to space up that 25 by 25 on the underside there with another boxed out section, kind of like you see on the chair there. And that'll give the side its own height. And I think I'm going to make the chair, this piece, a drop-in section. It'll just cut down the weight and help me get it through a doorway. That way, without the height of the chair on the back, I'll be able to turn this whole thing sideways, and it'll fit through a door. Which has been my biggest issue so far, is how am I actually going to get this, I can get it out of the workshop, giant roller door. Getting it into the office over at KM Exhaust could be a bit harder. So I think that is my plan at this point in time. Side 1 with a matching side 2. Not bad. Not bad at all. That is really coming together. That's becoming a seat. It's nice and wide too. The only problem with Australian cars, they're a little narrow in the back end, but that's actually quite wide. I think once I remake the bumper to suit it, it'll all look pretty natural still. So, right now, I'm up to the stage of putting some feet under here. I'm going to match these under here and have it hovering off the ground, probably 50 mil, so this is 50 mil off the ground. I'm not going to probably put caster wheels under this main frame. So I'm going to go knock that up right now. We might start tying it together with some crossbars, front and back. Top one over there somewhere. I don't know, man. I'm just pretty stoked with myself at this stage. This thing's looking in. It's freaking cool. It's going to need a lot of panel work. I'm actually thinking about sending it out. I think this exceeds my ability to do good panel work, and I think it would just be a shame to let it down now with really average panel work, which is pretty much what you're going to expect from me. So yeah, I think I'll send it out somewhere and get it painted real nice. Which is starting to take shape. So like I said, I'm going to have the couch piece as an insert. I will raise it up a little bit from where it is now. It's a bit low at this stage, but we'll raise that up. Still thinking about caster wheels. Tied everything in. Now it is really rigid. Like super solid, man. Ain't going nowhere. That's how it's going to sit off the ground. That's the height it's going to sit at, I think. Unless I change my mind again. Tied it in with a nice bar at the top. I think that looks about right. I was going to put a panel in here, but I don't think I'm going to. I don't think it needs it. It's going to be up against a wall. Gotten rid of the chassis rails out of the back. I was using them to keep it all stable, but they are no longer needed. They are redundant. So yeah, I am mega wrapped. This infill section worked a treat. See there's a bit of a bulge in it. Same on that side. Does the same on each side. So yeah, mega stoked with that. Mega stoked. So this is where I'm going to sign the video off. Thank you so much for watching and following it thus far. It really is seriously cool. I'm totally stoked with where it's at. The next stage is going to be getting this piece here off to paint and panel. I'll let you know who I use for that. We'll work that out as we go. And I got to drill some holes so that the seat has the bits to hold the seat down, so we'll screw it together. But that is pretty much it for this project for now. Like I say, I'm going to get it off, we'll get it out and have it painted. I think it's going to come up a real treat. I think I'll get someone else to paint it. I'm so happy with where I've got it to at this stage. I think to do it full justice, I'll get it out to someone. They can paint it up really nicely. I'll polish all my tail lights. Oh, the bumper. I haven't made the bumper work yet. I'll do that. Won't take long. Anyways, I will catch you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.